20 minutes early. Hey, colleagues, again, welcome to this Economic Matters voting session. All the listeners, I'd like to let you know, please do not text my members during voting session. Whatever has been said has been said. If you haven't, if you haven't studied it by now, it's not going to do you any good. We're going to try and move forward with some alacrity today. Starting with House Bill number 4.
House Bill 4 establishes the process that the Secretary of Labor must follow when recovering benefits from a UI claimant, and the claimant notifies the Secretary that the actual amount recovered exceeded the amount stated in the notice of repayment. There are no amendments at this time.
Mr. Chair, I believe that we're going to hold that for the amendment that is being drafted up right now. Delegate Watson, you didn't get that correct.
That's correct.
Thank you. We will be holding that.
What is the amendment?
I'm sorry?
What is the amendment?
Tiffany?
We haven't gotten the amendment yet, Delegate Arentz, but it's basically to put it in the same posture that if you are late paying unemployment to the state, that when they return the payment, they also grant you interest.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next is House Bill 234.
House Bill 234 would require the Department of Labor to add a statement to the IRS Form 1099-G that's given to UI claimants to provide them notice of the federal earned income tax credit and the state earned income tax credit. There is a small amendment in your packet that clarifies that because the form is federal, they can't put the statement on the form, but they can include a statement with the form.
Okay, it's my understanding that they were going to be doing that anyway.
We're expected to start doing that in 2022, this year.
Okay, Delegate Charkoudian.
Mr. Chair, maybe we could hold it. I believe they can put the statement on the form.
Council?
So we can hold it. I spoke with the department. They can't put it on the federal form because the form is federal. They have
federal form.
Yeah,
Right.
they have no control over the federal.
The federal form. We don't have any control over that.
Yeah, the state form comes from the comptroller
And they've agreed to put it on a separate flyer.
and include it with the form.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Council, but the comptroller already does it. So this is just the other department doing it along with the federal form.
Exactly. This is the other department doing it for the federal form. The comptroller does it for the state.
Mr. I think we may need to look into this a little further because I think that it can be put on the form itself.
To be honest, I don't know what having a separate flyer versus the form. They're agreeing to put a notification in with the form. We're getting exactly what we're asking for. It's just not in the way it may have been proposed, but I believe the effect is the exact same. Good. Johnny?
Just a quick question that was brought to me. And if a person is not a U.S. citizen, how would this affect them?
Oh,
As the council.
yeah, that is a great question. I am not sure if non-citizens earn unemployment insurance. But it would apply to people who are receiving unemployment insurance.
But to my understanding, it won't change anything because
It's
if you're
not
not
changing.
paying it, you're not going to be getting anything. The only thing it's changing is the notice being.
This is just a notice.
It's just notice. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's not changing anything that's currently
qualifies or not.
law.
It's just a notice. And I know there may be some cute confusion, but because it's in 2 separate languages, but we're not saying that because it's in another language that we're qualifying people who don't by themselves already qualify.
They have to be receiving it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to kind of reiterate your point, there is a concern that we're not allowed to amend federal forms. One, the department brought that up. 2, if we're going to amend the bill to require just a notice, the department said they were going to do that anyways. So do we really need a legislation to, do that when they're going to do it anyways? But just support the chair on that. Thank you.
I understand.
Move the amendment.
Do I have a second on moving the amendment and we can talk about the bill? Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, as amended, there's discussion on the bill.
Have you adopted the amendment?
Yes, we have. Is there any discussion on the bill?
Mr. Chair, what's the amendment do again? Explain that to me, or have counsel explain it.
The amendment just simply says the current law, the current language in the bill says you have to include the notice on the 1099. The amendment just says include the notice with it, with the 1099. It just changes the word on to with.
All right, thanks.
I would make a motion to move unfavorable.
Do
We're
we,
already doing it.
Hold on. Do we have any other discussion? As into why you'd want to move this unfavorable?
You want me to tell you why I want it unfavorable?
Please. Yes.
Because we're already doing it.
Well, we're not already doing it. They promised to do it. There's no obligation for them to continue doing it. This is one of those things that if a different administration comes in and decides they don't want to do anymore, then that's just what they do. This is creating a standard, which I believe was the goal and the intent, is to create a standard that regardless of the administration, that this is the way it would be done. Go ahead, Delegate Impalaria.
Well, it's the government that said they're going to do it, correct?
The state government, yes.
Yeah, well, don't we trust them? Aren't they here to help us? Shouldn't we trust them?
We
And
don't know what the next
so I
administration is
move,
gonna bring.
I trust them, so I follow what was Steve, and I give a second
Okay,
to be no.
Seth,
Isn't the cash campaign, didn't they say they were going to pay for this notice? Or am I thinking of another bill? I think they said they were going to pay for the printing of this notice.
They already do.
Yeah, what then?
This is already being done. It's just being done.
Yeah, exactly.
Finding
And
out.
I hate to form a Charcutean Howard alliance at any time, but all joking aside, love you. But I think we hold it. I mean, if they're going to do this, then we can just include it on the federal form, and the federal government's going to move to include it on the federal form, or the state government has already testified before this committee on record that they were going to be doing this. I don't understand the need for this legislation, and then the extended cost to cash campaign.
okay, we're gonna hold this bill. Doug Charcuterie, obviously you have a question, but there's too much discussion going on, so we need to hold this bill and answer some of these questions. Council, we need to research into the cash campaign and what it is they're doing to affect this bill. All right, moving on to House Bill 251.
Okay, House Bill 251 authorizes the Commissioner of Financial Regulation to deny, refuse to renew, suspend, or revoke a consumer reporting agency's registration if they do or do not do certain things. It also requires the Commissioner to adopt regulations to ensure the maximum possible accuracy in matching data in consumers' files, among other things. The Banking, Consumer Protection, and Commercial Law Subcommittee took this up on Monday and voted 7-0 to recommend this for interim summer study.
motion to refer to summer study?
Second.
Okay, do we need to do a roll call on this?
I got a
Yes.
question.
I know you do. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I know I'm the old man here in this committee, but we don't ever do summer studies in election years, ever in election years. Now, if you want to raise your hand and volunteer for the summer study and not go out and campaign, especially you who aren't going to run again, I think that's the way we should handle that. But having said that, the committee must decide what they want to do.
Can we put intent language to have Delegate Impalaria on the summer
We
study?
will do that. We'll make sure that we include you on the summer Sunday. Thank you for volunteering. Yours
I
is
will
only
be
hands
there.
up. So I think the motion is to refer to summer study. It's been seconded. Delegate Vice Chair Crosby,
Aye.
Delegate Brooks,
Aye.
Delegate Fisher. Is our
Summer
resident.
study, yes.
There we go. Delegate Queen,
Yes.
Delegate Turner,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Harrison,
Yes.
Delegate Jackson,
Yes.
Delegate Pippy,
Yes.
Delegate Mouts. Johnny Mouts,
Yes, yes.
Delegate Carey,
Yes.
Delegate Palaria,
No,
Delegate Branch,
Yep.
Doug Valderrama,
Aye.
Doug Walker,
He is excused.
is excused. Delegate Chi,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
Yes.
Delegate Ernst,
Yeah.
Pinellas excused. Delegate Charkoudian,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
Yes.
Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Bill will be referred to summer study. Next bill, please.
House Bill 253 establishes an additional on indicator to determine if UI claimants are eligible to receive federally funded extended benefits based on their average total unemployment rate in the state.
Move favorable. Second.
The motion is favorable second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Go ahead.
Opposed. This is 253 or 251.
253.
I'm on the record as opposed.
No, for the amendment, or we haven't discussed the bill yet?
There are no amendments.
Fine, sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, I apologize. There are no amendments. The motion was, I believe, was a motion favorable?
Yes, and seconded, Mr. Chair.
Right, but let's discuss the bill. Go ahead, Delegate Fisher.
Thank you. I just want for the record, if you could, council could explain the bill, what this word on means.
So there are triggers that turn on getting the federal benefits. For this particular bill, is based on the total unemployment rate in the state. So under federal law, they have to have a mandatory insured unemployment rate trigger. And Maryland has that rate. And there's some optional rates. This allows us to take advantage of the optional rate when there's 100% federal funding for extended benefits.
So this only takes effect when there's 100% federal funding.
Yes.
And
However, it's an automatic, the bill puts this on automatic. So if that happens with the Biden administration, for example, and they decide to put this additional money into the till, and we have which we do, a delta of people that are working, and this pays people longer to not work. Is that ultimately what this is going to do?
Well, if they authorize extended benefits and they are funding the extended benefits, then we can take advantage of that.
We'll take advantage of that with this bill, but it would be automatic rather than having this committee review it to look at whether it made sense at that particular time.
That would be the trigger, yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Delegate Adams.
I mean, in following up with what Delegate Fisher was saying, is there a scenario where federal funding would be available, but the state would not be acting in the employer's best interest by extending these benefits? So for example, what's happening like right now, we have so many jobs open and available and a dearth of folks that are actually applying and taking those jobs. I'm not suggesting that what's happening today has a direct relationship to unemployment insurance and extended benefits. But what I am asking is, in this future scenario where the federal government says, okay, Maryland, here's money, wouldn't Maryland have to make a decision as to whether or not they would actually want to extend this benefit? And therein lies what Delegate Fisher was saying, is that requires deliberation and at least some thought. It should not be a trigger. That's my opinion on the bill. Is it actually takes away some of our jurisdiction and also the administrative role of the Department of Labor when it comes down to, what will this action do, and what's the cause and effect in the marketplace of labor?
Is that a suggestion that we have a special session every time something of this nature would open up to discuss?
Well, no, but I do think that the Department of Labor can act and did act when the federal government made funds available to do what's in the best interest of the state. The fact that we would trigger this free of any discussion as to what the impact would be in the private sector and employment and how people would respond to this sort of benefit absolutely should be a conversation every time this issue comes up.
Okay.
It's too easy to take a bill like this and say, we're just going to take federal money in every scenario without knowing what the, what's the hook? What's the other side of the discussion? And it's not today's conversation, Chairman. It's what's the next event and what does that look like? And that's my concern with a bill like this.
I got you. Thank you. Delegate Charkoudian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to clarify, and maybe council can confirm, this bill triggers on when federal money is available and when Maryland's unemployment rate is above 6.5%. So if there's federal money available and Maryland's unemployment rate is 6.2%, it would not trigger this extended benefit. So there is a quantitative trigger that indicates we don't have the situation we have now with a lot of open jobs, and the situation that the money would be paid for by the federal government, and so it wouldn't cost employers additional money. Can council just confirm that both of those are in the bill?
Yes, you're correct. The 6.5 is in the bill.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Delegate Ernst.
Yeah, but I'm just going to parlay off of what Delegate Adams was saying. I would prefer the state make their own decisions as opposed to us automatically saying that the federal government has jurisdiction over this and can allow it. I think that we saw what happened during this pandemic. I think it's absolutely imperative that we meet as a body. We didn't do that through this pandemic. And I would think that some decisions could have been handled differently had we met as a body.
Sure.
So I'll be voting no on this bill.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion? I believe the motion is to move favorable. Delegate Crosby.
Aye.
Delegate Brooks.
Aye.
Delegate Fisher.
No.
Delegate Queen.
Yes.
Delegate Turner.
Yes.
Delegate Rogers.
Yes.
Delegate Harrison.
Yes.
Delegate Jackson.
Yes.
Delegate Pippy.
No.
Delegate Mouts.
No.
Delegate Carey.
Yes.
Delegate Valeria.
No.
Delegate Branch.
Yes.
Delegate Valderrama.
Aye.
Delegate Walker. I'm sorry, Walker's excused. Delegate Chi.
Yes.
Delegate Adams.
No.
Delegate Ernst.
No.
Finello's excused. Delegate Charkoudian.
Yes.
Delegate Howard.
No.
Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Bill moves forward favorable. Party line vote. Next bill, please.
Okay. House Bill 305 requires a holder of abandoned property valued at $10,000 or more to send a written notice to the apparent owner by certified mail return receipt, and property valued between $100 and $10,000, a notice by first class mail. There is one amendment to this bill, and it alters the process for identifying property held by financial institutions in the state as abandoned. More specifically, the amendments provide that property may not be considered abandoned so long as a financial institution has a valid address for the individual and has not received notice from USPS that that the mail sent to an individual has been undeliverable.
Move the amendment.
Second.
As amended, is there any opposition
I have a question
on the amendment or on the bill as a whole?
on the bill because you said as amended. So
Okay, all right. Do you already say the amendment has been accepted as amended on the bill? Any discussion? Delegate Fisher.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. So my question for council is, I read the bill and I read the fiscal note, and it says the current law is that the comptroller is required to provide these notices of property that is abandoned that has a value of $100 or more. So that would mean there would be no limit. This bill limits it to $10,000. Is that true?
Yes and no. So basically, between $100 and $10,000. This is the bill as introduced. It is first class mail, and then $10,000 and above, it is certified mail return receipt requested.
So, okay.
So I believe in order for this to kick in, they have to get something that says that the either mail is undeliverable versus right now, if they don't hear anything back. So whether it's certified and you don't sign for it, but if they just mail it to you and you don't open it, that would kick this in where they would consider it abandoned. If this bill with the amendment were to pass, they would have to get something affirmative saying that this is undeliverable in order for that time to start kicking in.
And I know it's current law that it's $100 or more, but it does seem, it's always bothered me because we've seen bills like this before in this committee. It's always bothered me that, money that's less than that is not valuable enough to let people know that it's been abandoned. It's always bothered me that we don't just say, notify people. I know it's expensive, but it is their property. So anyway, but thank you for clarifying that. That does help.
And I definitely understand your opinion. It's something we kind of went back and forth over. The only issue is the bill as amended. It's the same either way, whether you send something certified or whether you send something regular mail. They've got to get something back that says it's not, you understand? So I got your point, definitely. But because of what we were looking for, this actually kind of, it's like you're getting the same thing whether you do it certified or first class mail. But I understand. Delegate Pippy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question on the mail. So as I understand, I just try to read the amendment. The certified mail, that's a more expensive type of mail than just the regular first class. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
Right. So for property that's valued over 10,000, I think I'm understanding this, it would require the additional certified mail versus what it currently is in law, which is just the first class, correct?
Correct.
That is correct. The bill as introduced would require that.
Okay. And then the other part of the bill is that we're required to get a notice back. Like the bank's supposed to get a notice back before acting any further, whether it's first class or certified. Is that correct?
Correct.
So the only cost difference to small business or big business, however you want to say it, is that for property above 10,000, they have to now send certified mail, whereas before they could just send regular mail. And is that correct?
No. So we're talking, there's the bill, and then there's the bill as amended. So the bill as amended takes out the whole $100,000 thing, and it goes back to what it was in current law, that it's $100 in first class mail.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But the certified still stands as amended. So the bill as amended still requires now the certified increased cost for certified mail versus what it was before, which was just first class. Is that correct?
No. So.
Thank you. That's what I need clarification.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to?
I do.
Go
Yeah.
on. Okay. So in the amendment, so for them to, let me just back up. So the financial institution has to send somebody mail twice before it's deemed abandoned, right? So the holder has to send, yes, it has to be by first class mail. And that is in the amendment. There's nothing about return receipt requested in the amendment. It is first class mail.
So there is no certified mail requirement at all as amended. Is that correct?
Not as amended, no. As the bill is introduced, it is certified return receipt, but as amended, it is not in the bill.
Okay, that's what I was trying to find out. Thank you.
Yes.
Vice Chair Crosby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I spoke to the bankers probably about 20 minutes ago. They are okay with the amended version.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Do I have a motion on the bill?
Move favorable.
Move favorable.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, Delegate Crosby,
Aye.
Delegate Brooks,
Aye.
Delegate Fisher,
Aye.
Delegate Queen,
Yes.
Delegate Turner,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Harrison,
Yes.
Delegate Jackson,
Yes.
Delegate Pippy,
Yes.
Delegate Mouts,
Yes.
Delegate Carey,
Yes.
Delegate Polari,
Yes.
Delegate Branch,
Yes.
Valderrama,
Aye.
Walker's excused, Delegate Chi,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
Yes.
Delegate Aaron's,
Yes.
Delegate Charkoudian,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
Yes.
Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Still passes as amended. Next bill.
Okay, House Bill 390 prohibits the use or maintenance of an improper or outdated address in documents filed with the State Department of Assessment and Taxation. and provides for a process for determining whether an address is being properly used. There are no amendments to this bill.
Any discussion on the bill? Everybody knows what the bill does? Okay.
No,
Could
properly used for what?
you please explain the bill, counsel?
Yes. Okay, so the theory behind this is that, businesses have to have an address on file to file with SDAT.
Mhm.
Sometimes businesses move, but they still use these businesses as their mailing address or proper address. There have been instances where people have moved or businesses have moved and other people have moved into the space, and people are still trying to contact the other business to the detriment of the person who moved in. So SDAT is saying that they don't have a process for removing these improperly used addresses. So this is trying to get to removal of improperly used addresses.
Wow, that's kind of sad. They're really good at collecting that $300 annual fee for the personal property tax, but they can't do anything else. Incredible. Thank you.
Thank you for your chairman and positive response as always, Delegate Fisher, Delegate Aaron's.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess in the end, what does this bill really do? Because it doesn't really serve a purpose other than it's going to end up in the same place when it's done, isn't it?
Well, to my understanding, Delegate Counsel, would you like, I was just going to do it in, non-legalese for the non-geniuses in the room, is that basically if I move into a facility, a law firm or a space that used to have, they had another law firm there and that law firm defaulted on loans, they're still going to be coming repeatedly to my office and I'm the new person and harassing me about money that is owed by a prior business. What this allows is that business's address, which is now mine, to be stricken from those records so they don't keep coming to harass me with collections and things of that nature, and allows me to notify them that, hey, these guys no longer live there.
But if I'm collecting that bill trying to collect it off you, the new guy, I'm going to know that as soon as I do it the first time, which I'm going to know no matter what.
Well, you have a lot of really kind bill collectors that I never run into, but that's generally not how that works. They generally think you're lying or something of that nature, and they continue to come back and respond. And usually when somebody owes a little money, they owe a lot of money. So it's a multitude of individuals. It becomes very disruptive to a business. The business owner like yourself would understand that stuff like that could actually look very bad depending on your clientele.
Mhm.
I think I understand your explanation, but I still think we already accomplished the same thing. I don't believe that the result of this bill will affect anything different. I believe that they may try to do it one time, but that's going to be a dead issue. You notify somebody. We know that's a bad address. Just my opinion.
And counsel, let me ask you this. So currently, who can change the address of that company that moved, that's in default or something of that nature?
The business owner.
The defaulted, the company that moved, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
For all intents and purposes, it's the company that moved that has to change their address. If they choose not to, if they just give up their company for 3 years, then we're stuck with this situation. This just allows new business owners, to avoid that drama. But hey, this is pro-business people talking. You guys do what you want to do.
I just think we're already doing it, but okay, thank you for the explanation.
I got you. Delegate Mounts.
Just real quickly for council, the way it currently works, how do you change your address?
A business owner has to contact SDAT, and they have a process in place for that right now to change their address, but someone else cannot change the address of a business owner of a business that's listed with SDAT. You can only change your own business address. So this bill is putting in a process for someone to notify SDAT that they believe that the address is being used improperly. SDAT will try to send out, notices to try to get to the person. If they have another address on file or something, they'll send it there saying, hey, by the way, I think this is being used improperly. You need to contact us within 45 days, and then proving that it is being used properly. And if it's being used properly, then SDAT drops it. But if nobody responds, then it can go to circuit court. So there is no process right now, but this would be establishing the process.
Go ahead, Rick. Can't hear you, big guy.
So if business A is no longer at that address and business B goes in to SDAT and says, we want to register and this is our address, what happens?
And also, can I also just mention that it's not just businesses. Sometimes these are people's personal homes. But in that particular instance, I'm not exactly sure what happens. I do believe you could have two addresses on file in the same address, but I'm not sure. I would have to look
A
that
lot of
up.
time, and I know for a fact you can multiple addresses because many times a lawyer will move into the same building. You have 8 lawyers with their own companies moved in the same building. So they'll just have 8 different companies at that address.
Or you could have a subsidiary located, maybe it's the same person. They start a different business at the same location to do something else. So it's not like SDAT would be able to scrub it. SDAT, this is their preferred process. From my understanding, they drafted the bill. They came in on the testimony for the bill as well.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Move favorable.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. This bill has been properly seconded. Crosby,
Aye.
Delegate Brooks. Delegate Brooks.
Aye.
Delegate Fisher.
No.
Delegate Queen.
Yes.
Delegate Turner.
Yes.
Delegate Rogers.
Yes.
Delegate Harrison.
Yes.
Delegate Jackson.
Yes.
Delegate Pippy.
Yes.
Delegate Mouts.
Yes.
Delegate Carey.
Yes.
Delegate Impalaria.
Yeah, no.
Delegate Branch.
Aye.
Delegate Valderrama.
Aye.
Delegate Chi.
Yes.
Delegate Adams.
Yes.
Delegate Ernst.
Yeah.
Delegate Fennell. Nope, she's excused. Delegate Charkoudian.
Yes.
Delegate Howard.
Yes.
Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Was
Delegate Aaron's a yes or no?
Weirdly enough, he was a yes. That's correct, Delegate Aaron's. You gotta unmute, big guy.
Yeah, I was a yes, arguably yes.
Yes.
A yes.
Apparently have one more bill, House Bill 789.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
this is
was
withdrawn.
Okay,
Move unfavorable, withdrawn.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No opposition. Bill moves unfavorable, withdrawn. Hey, colleagues, take a minute. You got a half hour to eat. Please be back on time. Let me see your wonderful smiling faces. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.